Hello AGDQ, I'm Nerd Squared, and today I'll be submitting air control. And the category I'll be submitting for this, I'll be calling casual mode, and I'll explain a bit about that right here, because it's kind of a multi-category run. You'll notice on the main menu here that there's two modes, casual mode part 1 and casual mode part 2. This category, casual mode, is just doing those two modes back to back. And I'm choosing those two specifically because these other two modes, Realistic and Killjoy, are very boring and not very fun to watch. So we'll just be doing these two. So we'll go ahead and get started. Timing is going to start when I select Casual Mode Part 1. So 3, 2, 1, go. Alright, so there's an opening cutscene here. There's a couple of cutscenes that we normally skip in this run, but I'm gonna let them play out for the sake of showcasing them, because these cutscenes are really good, as you can clearly see. Alright, so the gameplay of air control is mainly divided up into these missions, which you activate by hitting these objective markers. You'll notice when I start off this mission, I went to that check mark twice, or not that check mark, but the exclamation mark twice. That'll let me do two quests at once, so it could essentially kill two birds with one stone. Alright, we're gonna activate these three passengers interact boxes at the same time, because that is a thing you can do to give them all their food. Same thing here. There's a lot of things in this game where, like, I'll do a text overlap with several different conversation text boxes just to go through them really quickly. I'm gonna walk backwards into the conversation with this zombie here, because yeah, that makes total sense. That just gets rid of the lock cursor UI automatically without me having to press the button in the top left. You might have noticed it when I started the run, but splattered all over the screen is this lock cursor UI where a bunch of buttons saying lock cursor are plastered all over the screen. What those buttons actually do, if I happen to click on them, is they'll put my cursor back to the center of the screen. So a large part of the speedrun tech for this game is making sure to not hit those buttons so you can keep your cursor aligned with where you want to click in order to click optimally. You also might have seen the cursor just wandering around there while I was doing movement. That's perfectly fine. It's actually intended gimmick, because you need that to be able to click the trash bags in that case and some other interactable objects later on. That part that I just did is a lot tighter than it looks because you're moving really fast after hitting those super speed arrows. So I just do a quick tap left. Oh, whoops. I do a quick tap left as I'm running forward there, and that avoids getting stuck on the chairs there. Unfortunately, I died there, so I had to wait for the gun to respawn, because after you grab the gun there to kill that enemy, the gun doesn't respawn for a few more seconds. And unfortunately, I died there, so I had to wait. And this guy, if he happens to accurate you like he did there, he can ruin your day. So we want to take this really wide line to try to get around him. Fortunately, it's not going too well, but hopefully we'll get it this time. Okay, I think I was just taking the line too short is what happened before. But that's okay, we got past him. So now we're going to make our way over to this airplane, and this is the fun part of air control, where we get to fly an airplane. Shocking, I know, given the name of the game. We're actually going to fly an airplane. And you might be able to see it in the input viewer, but the controls for this plane are as awkward as they look. And I want to jinx it right now, but I'm gonna anyway. In these airplane sections, which there's a few of in this run, there's a chance that the game can just randomly crash, and I have no control over it. It just kind of happens. So we're gonna hope that it doesn't, but in case it does, I have a pretty generous estimate to accommodate for it. So the special thing with Casual 1, unlike in Casual 2, which we'll get to later, So there's some bonus contents you get to access if you basically click that hidden button I accessed on the seat. And we got this extra cutscene here to sit through. Pretty good stuff. Very riveting story. And we click the next button and we keep going. The thing with that is that it loops us back to this bit where we get rid of the zombie and collect all the trash bags. So there is a bit of repeating gameplay here, but it won't last for too long before we get back into it. We basically just have to backtrack to where we flew the airplane just a second ago. As you can see, clicking these objects when you're trying to do these parts fast is kind of difficult, because sometimes the cursor ends up in a strange way to where you have to like move the cursor to the very extreme side of the screen in order to be able to click the thing you need to click. You also might notice the audio is a little odd during this cutscene. For a lot of cutscenes in this game, and in fact even on the main menu of the game when I started the video, the audio just doesn't work properly and only plays in the left ear for some odd reason. No idea why. So yeah, there's a couple of sections here where, like I did a few minutes ago, we'd have to shoot an enemy, but we can completely ignore it by just running to the cockpit. We don't have to kill the enemy at all, we just have to run to the cockpit. This guy we do have to kill though, because he's guarding a exclamation point that we need to hit to get to the next section. You also notice with some of these sections that I'll like move the cursor to a seemingly random point on the screen and then just aggressively left click. What I'm actually doing there is for some missions in the game I know where the next button is going to appear, which is the condition to go to the next section. So if I know where the button is, I can just put my cursor to where I know the button is going to be, and then just mash left click to enable it the second or frame even that it appears. Alright, so this is the second time we're doing this airplane section. We gotta fly over to the city. We're not gonna do the bonus section we did before because we already did it. So we're just going to fly to the city. And no crash. Cool. There's still one more opportunity for that to happen, so we're not out of the woods yet. Another running theme with this game is that there's a lot of gameplay sections or missions that just don't make any logical sense in terms of plot or continuity. There is some in there, as you kind of saw with the first cutscene. There's like an implied war between a bunch of different factions, but it's not really elaborated on, it's just kind of there. Besides that, it's just a random mishmash of sections. If you really think about it, this game is just one big tech demo for what a small indie team can do with basic indie assets. The team who developed this game, by the way, is a team from Russia, I believe, named Killjoy Games. Who released this on Steam in September of 2014 or so, August 2014, somewhere around there. And this game was so bad, it got pulled off of the Steam store 3 weeks after it released. And so far, I think you can see why. It's not the lowest rated game on Steam, I think, but it's definitely up there. Alright, so we're gonna have another airplane section, but this one is a lot more straightforward because it's literally just a straight line to that green box, which is the objective marker we're trying to hit. You'll notice when I did the airplane section before, as well as this one, that I just randomly ended up in the air, like I teleported. There's a key, a hotkey, I guess the developers left in the game, the O key to be specific. If you press that key, the airplane just teleports in the air. And we use that to get to top speed immediately to get to the checkpoint we're trying to get to a bit faster. So this part is pretty much an auto score. You'll see it a couple of times between Casual 1 and Casual 2. We just have to wait in this airplane while it slowly sinks. So while else is happening, we can take a look around the airplane. Just look at the bathroom there. All the passengers in their seats. Here's Mr. Robert Pattinson with his, I don't know what model laptop that is. I guess that's a Windows laptop. Don't know why there's all that stuff on the keyboard there. And we also get this nice upside down map of India. Pretty good to look at. So we have to wait until the water gets to around the passenger's eye level, as you'll see in a second, and it'll disappear. There we go. So I say this game is a little bit like a tech demo because there's some sections where it's just obvious that the developers are messing around trying to see what they could do to make it just the weirdest game they possibly could. And that's the key example there, because that section is purely there just to lag out the game and possibly make your computer burst into flames. One of the two. And we have a truck mission here. Earlier in the game, we had a truck mission, but yeah, this one's a little tough. It's a little random how quickly the guy decides to shoot you, and if he shoots you before he gets to the cockpit. Yeah, there was one. We did a truck mission where that camera was kind of off to the side of the truck. There's one we did earlier in the game where the camera was a top-down view, but with that one, they just put the camera there to the side for just for fun, basically. Like I said, they did a lot of experimenting with this game to make it as weird of a game as they possibly could, and it shows. Alright, so I said before about how the game kind of loops gameplay sections in some cases. This is another example of that. Once we hit the cockpit there and interact with that button on the radio panel, on the panel, I mean. I think I might mess that up, but that's okay. It just loops back to the first few missions of the game, as well as some other missions in between. I thought I messed that up, but apparently I didn't. Okay. False alarm. Also, we get to play Flappy Plane, but you only saw it for a split second. See all these organs strewn about in the plane. Not sure why they decided to do a surgery on a plane of all places, but hey, I won't judge. One last mega speed, and we'll go ahead and make our escape route. And in a second, this will be the end of Casual 1. Cool. So now we'll move on to Casual 2. And we still have surgeons on the plane strewing organs all about, because why the heck not? We do have one mission here, though, where we have to kill another enemy. We got a pistol this time instead of the Tommy gun that we got before, which is interesting. Go to the cockpit again, pretty straightforward. Get more Flappy Plane. So we're gonna run to the cockpit again, but this time the game has its inserted code, which is just all ones. And if you run up against the door as it's opening, this happens. The game goes to less than 1 FPS, trying to load the door as you go through it. Oh, I hit the lock cursor. That's okay, though. So we get more lag. Juicy frame rate. Heck yeah. Eat your heart out, Virtual Hide Lag, because we just got a new award for lowest frame rate in a video game. Hello, future. So yeah, a lot of the gameplay sections from here are pretty straightforward. We just run a straight line to the exit. But there's some fun parts towards the end, and it's gonna make you scratch your head as to why they included it. We have one last keypad here, except it's not just all ones this time. You have to do 1, 2, 3, 4. Very advanced stuff, I know. Not advanced enough though that they can make the game not lag to 0 FPS. Just give it a second. There we go. Alright, we got through. Alright. To the back again. Alright, so I'm gonna, similar to the very first mission in the game in Casual 1, I'm gonna go back and forth in the exclamation mark a few times just to skip past a few lines of dialogue here so I can pick up the trash here immediately. I'm also going to get rid of the lock cursor UI just so I can click these trash bags a little easier. There we go. Uh-oh. Okay, now I have to, because I was too slow trying to move after mashing left click in the previous section, I have to kill this guy now. It's gonna be kind of tricky because the gun despawns, so I have to wait for the gun to respawn too. Oh god, this is a disaster. It's okay, I'll get past this, don't worry. Okay, we got him. Also, the NPCs explode when you shoot them for some reason. Very weird quirk of the NPCs. I'm gonna back up here. This one is a little trickier than the previous truck missions because you have these cones blocking the way. So you have to get creative with how you get to the green light. If we edge ourselves very gingerly... Oh, whoops. Okay, that should be good, I think. Because I have a bit more wiggle room here. So if we edge ourselves gingerly over to this light, we can hit it from the other side of the wing. We have the same sinking airplane that we had before. No contact support whatsoever. We just kind of get put in here. Get a nice look at Robert Pattinson's laptop. Also, this is Robert Pattinson. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. Perfect recreation, as you can see. Oh, I'll get rid of this. There we go. Much better. Also get... Oh, whoops, I clicked out of the game. My bad. That's the thing with playing this game in full screen mode. You can accidentally click out of the window sometimes. You saw an example of that right there. Now we get one last look at the upside down map of India. Last time you'll see it in the run, so say goodbye. Goodbye. Get more 0 FPS chairs. Literally the entire point is just to lag out the game. That's the only purpose for that level. Gotta put out fire. Because you gotta stay safe. Not this fancy restaurant. Alright, so we have another airplane mission. Oh, whoop. Okay. Got a little disoriented there. The annoying thing about these airplane missions is that if you ever hit the ground, your plane is just immediately stopped and you can't move it. So you have to free yourself by using the teleport hotkey I talked about before. And that one can also crash, but we got past it. Also, this one's fun. You're supposed to do a big obstacle course here to get the plane to the top, but you can just spam the teleport key and you're at the top. Pretty easy. Oh, I forgot that guy was there. We have to shoot this guy to get to the cockpit, but I died, so I had to wait for the gun to respawn. There we go. There we go. The annoying thing, too, about these sections is that the boxes can get in your way. And this is the same chair 0 FPS thing from before, with that floating upside down map of India, but with a twist. You can see that the cursor isn't on the screen, so I have to like watch where which buttons are highlighted on the screen to be able to see where to go. We have a few more missions left. We just have to close this bin over and over. That counts as closing all the bins in the cabin. And that's it. That's time. So that is air control. We got some looping Flappy plane to celebrate. In the meantime, though, this has been air control. I think this will be a pretty good showcase for the off block, and I hope you guys consider my run. Thank you guys for watching.